Hey everybody, it's Brandon with another episode of Bears Latest. It is Tuesday, June the 17th, and here is what's going on in the world of our Chicago Bears. I have to be completely honest when I start off with my first segment today. Visions of Greg Olson being traded to the Panthers because Mike Martz didn't care to have an elite tight end like him in the Bears offense back in the late 2000s. I started to cringe a little bit when I'm reading here that the Cole Kmet trade rumors are starting to heat up. And one particular team is stuck out, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rumor has it that they are in the market for a tight end upgrade to go along with Pat Fryermuth, and which would make one of the best tight end duos in the league. But you know what also make a great tight end duo? How about Colson Loveland and Cole Kmet? If I'm the Bears, if I'm getting a first round pick for Cole Kmet, okay, I'd do it. I would even consider like a second and give me another pick. As long as I'm getting at least a second and then get another mid round pick, I would be open to the idea, especially if guys like Durham Smythe and Joel Wilson, who we spoke about on yesterday's show, I would be open to that. And maybe because of what Joel Wilson has shown the coaching staff over OTAs, minicamp, and all of that, maybe this is an opportunity to give Cole an opportunity to start elsewhere and to be able to still play at a high level and to not be in the way of Colston Loveland and vice versa. You'd hate to see, something, negative erupt in the locker room. Um, I highly doubt that the Bears are going to get the trade package that they want for Cole, but the idea of it potentially, you know, gaining traction, it just makes me nervous because we have a very outstanding tight end room. And, even though Cole, doesn't, his receiving numbers aren't the most stellar, it's all the other things that he does. I mean, look at what all the run blocking that he's done, all the grunt work. He puts his body on the line game in and game out. And then not only that, he was the emergency long snapper last year, and I believe that was in the London game. How amazing is that you can rely on somebody who hasn't, who practiced long snapping here and there, in camp to be or in practice to be an emergency option, and to all of a sudden be put out there with no time to warm up. Cole did a fantastic job. This guy is a homegrown guy. This guy loves the Chicago Bears. I would hate to see something like that because you've got a guy that is the face of your organization. Why trade him away? I don't think the return package is going to be what they want. So I believe he's going to stay here. Now, if we find out over the course of this season that him and Loveland can't coexist in this offense, then I would welcome a trade then. But the 12 personnel packages that you're going to have, the opportunities, I still am of the mindset that one can be a decoy and open it up for the other tight end or other receivers in the passing game. I think it is foolish at this point, especially since you've got Cole on a very team friendly extension that he signed a season or two ago. I think you roll with it and run it back with Cole and see what kind of chemistry him and Loveland are able to develop and along with the rest of the offense as well. What do you guys think? Do you like the idea of Cole being put out there in trade rumors? Should he keep himself right in Chicago and finish his career, play his career out in Chicago? Or do we want to see what we can get and try to get some draft capital, give him an opportunity, move elsewhere, and catch passes from Aaron Rodgers? If anybody likes that idea, you are not a Bears fan. Let me know what you guys think down below. Hopefully, this is just a very terrible rumor, and Cole will be on the roster week 1 and beyond. Which leads me to next topic. So, reading, through some of the different articles that are out there, and the position, just something that really resonated, and it's not like a no-brainer here, but I think it's something that we can at least have today. We can have some really good discussion on is which position is the most important need right now. Because if you look at all the scenarios that are out there, you're seeing running backs, you're seeing edge players, and the occasional safety or so, linebacker here and there, but it's running back and edge. And the question is, which position is of most importance of upgrading right now? Because Ryan Poles is cooking right now and looking for something to upgrade or someone to upgrade um, either side of the ball. Which is of most importance right now? Well, here's the thing. You've got you've got a pretty good running back room right now. It's not the one that you want to that everybody is just in love with and enamored. Some may. I mean it's possible. But as it looks right now, I like the depth in the running back room more than I do in the edge room. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest reasons why I am concerned with the edge position is because Dio Obdangbo did not participate in camp. The other reason being, there's no real studs outside of maybe Montez Sweat that's playing on the edge right now. And until I see pads, till we all see pads on and they're out there, um, you know, it's all for real. I'm very skeptical. So I think the position of most need right now is going to be edge. And I think right now, I think it's going to end up being Trey Hendrickson or bust. It just makes too much sense. I think if you're going to make a splash, that's the splash you're going to make. We did talk about Thibodeau, Kayvon Thibodeau, the other week, that he might be a good possibility too, because they've been upgrading the edge position there for the G men, the Giants. Those two with Hendrickson being in the lead, I think would be the move that you'd want to make. And there's other running backs, that we haven't talked about, and I'm not going to talk about them all right now because we got to have things to talk about throughout the week, folks. I can't just give everything to you right now. Um, but as it stands at this moment, I think edge is the most important position of need right now. If you agree or you disagree, leave a comment below. If you disagree, tell me why. And shoot, if you agree, I'd like to hear your rationale on that. Because we're still over a month away until camp, and we can still make upgrades before we put pads on and go to work. So let me know what you think. So, talking running backs and edge. So I wanted to dedicate the last two segments to picking one player of interest from each position. And I almost forgot about Blake Corum. I forgot that the Rams drafted him because they've got a guy like Kyron Williams already there. And it didn't cross my mind, but rumor has it that Blake Corum could be on the move. One of the biggest reasons is that Sean McVay has come out and said that Corum needs to start. He is a productive back that is going to have success, but he needs to be out on the field. Now, he only rushed for like almost 3.5 yards a carry last year, but that was also due to the fact that he wasn't on the field that much. So it's hard to really gain good rhythm and such. And watching him play at University of Michigan during his undergraduate career, was something to watch, especially, the last 2 seasons, his junior and senior year. The kind of leader that he is, the guy that is a bruiser and gets out there and runs hard, fights for every yard, and just is an all-around good guy. And there was nothing better than watching Blake Corum beat the Ohio State Buckeyes. Sorry if there's any Buckeye fans in the chat or in the video and all that. Watching Corum tear up OSU, his final 2 years was something special. And I think that might be a position or a player, if we're looking at the running back position, um, that would be a guy that really interests me more. I think there's so much untapped potential with him, um, and the fact that you're getting a guy that has fresher legs than some of these other guys that we've been looking at. This is a guy that has thrived in Sean McVay's system, and I believe, in my opinion, I feel like he could come into Ben Johnson's system, and I think he would be able to pick up on things pretty easily. I think a lot of the same concepts are there, um, and I think he would succeed, and I'd be intrigued. Um, but as I'm looking at this too, like I like Blake Corum, I really do. But then again, I look at our roster and I see Roshan Johnson, who could be Blake Corum. I see Kyle Monangai, who could be Blake Corum. We may have the guy in house, which is why you're seeing, um, a lot of postings out lately of talking about how much everybody needs to keep an eye on Kyle Monangai and the potential that he has going into 2025. But I digress because we are talking about Blake Corum. So I would be open to it if it makes sense and the trade package is something that makes sense and it's not an you know, overcompensation. I would be open to it. What do you guys think? What do you think of Blake Corum? Do you think he would be a good fit as a Bear? Or does he seem a bit redundant? Like we already have a guy like him in the room. Or if you straight up don't care for a trade for him, put that in there as well. Also, I'm gonna put it out to you guys because I want to get some more discussion with you guys. If there's a running back we haven't talked about yet, post about it because I would love to do a deep dive and look at some of these other potential targets and targets that you guys are intrigued by. So leave a comment below and share your thoughts. And for our last section, we're going to pick an edge guy today. And I don't know why I didn't come across him a lot sooner, but after looking him up and learning more about him, it would be a fit and it would probably be a low cost fit because we are $14 million under the cap, which is fantastic for where we're at right now. Tano Paseo is today's edge discussion. He most recently played for the Saints, so there is a connection with him and Dennis Allen, another big body guy. Here's the thing that's different with him than some of the other ones. He's coming off of an ACL injury that he sustained last April. Now, what's interesting about this is that he also only took 7 months to rehab from said ACL surgery and ended up finishing the season off by playing 3 games. And I think he might have got a sack in there. I think that he had gotten a sack on Geno Smith. So that's fantastic. And then before that, he played from 2021 to 2024 in New Orleans. 2023 was a fairly productive season for him at 3.5 sacks. In 22, he had 2 sacks. So those numbers aren't screaming, huge production. But if it's a guy that can be a rotational piece that you can rotate in like a Demarcus Walker, like we had there, which honestly seems like the same player to me. Uh, but I don't know, maybe being back with Dennis Allen and, maybe the way that the rest of the line is set up and the defense, maybe he would have an opportunity to show out here in 2025. Um, he looks like he would be a good guy to have in the room. He's well respected by his peers and his teammates. So I don't know. I'd be interested. You can never have too much edge help. So what do you think about Paseo? Paseo, excuse me. Tano Paseo. Let me know what you think about him. Same thing applies here, guys. If you're not excited about the possibility, comment there, but I want you to back it up with who you think the Bears should be looking at to acquire, whether it's signing them as a free agent or trading for them. Um, I want to hear what you have to say. If you're like, Brandon, shut up. I'm so tired of talking about this. You can say, Brandon, shut up. This is too much. But I'm going to keep talking about it because what else will we have to talk about? So let me know your thoughts. And guys, as always, I thank you. I thank you for being a part of this experience. I want to continue to grow what we've got here. Always feel free to leave a comment, leave suggestions. Um, this is your guys's channel as well as it is mine, and I want to make it worthwhile for you. So as always, I hope you guys have a great day and bear down.